This week's channeled message from Isla, the mother of creation, she's the mother of all souls, is the perfect one to usher us into Lion's Gate, which starts 8/8. And for this period, this portal period that we're going through, including eclipse season, we've got so much energy on our side right now for change and manifestation. And this is the perfect message to see us through it. So welcome back to my channel, you guys. I am so glad you are here. And anyone who's new, welcome. My name is Ann Tucker. I am a trance channel, which means I go into a deep meditative state or trance state, and from there I raise my awareness as high as I can go, and I stretch just a little higher. I connect with the angels and with Isla, and I bring through healing and information for you guys that I share here on YouTube. So this week's message is, it is a fun one, very uplifting one, helping us to see a little better how we are using our creative energy so that we can stop manifesting from the past and begin manifesting from creating a field of contentment and expanding that to start to generate more of what we do want. So it's a really cool message, helps you to think about things maybe in a way you haven't before, and to become really a more powerful creator in this super effective time period that we are in right now for generating something new for yourself. So before we dive into the message, I'm going to share the original channeling, and then after that we will break it down and we talk it through. I find that we get a lot more out of the message. It allows you to just kind of sit during the when I'm playing the original channeling, so that you can just let the frequencies move through you, because a lot of beautiful frequencies come through during that channeling. So don't worry if you are can't follow, if you find yourself drifting during the listening, because we will break it through and you'll get all the content in the second half. I wanted to say a quick thank you, a huge thank you to all of you who have left reviews for my new book. It's this one, it's out. If you didn't know, by the way, The Map to New Earth, it is an absolute labor of love, and the reviews have been so beautiful. So thank you so much. I got to say that some of the comments, that have meant so much to me. People who have told me and been saying in the comments that they couldn't put the book down, that they read it in a day. I talked with Pam Gregory yesterday. We had a lovely conversation, and she said she read the book in a day, that she literally couldn't put it down. And that to me is just amazing, considering that it's a book is handling really big concepts. It's talking about like the universe and the growth of a soul and all this kind of stuff. It's like pretty major things that you normally think you have to have a degree in physics to understand. But my goal with this book, and I think Isla's goal in talking with us, is to always bring things back home to the human level. How do we understand this from the human perspective? And the fact that people are saying that their experience of the book is that it's fun to read says so much to me. I'm so happy. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for your encouragement and your generosity with your comments and your reviews. I'm so grateful. So, and if you don't have the book yet, it is on Amazon, and it's on a regular paperback or Kindle. I am going to work on an audiobook, but I don't know how to do it yet. So I'm going to figure that out. And by the way, we're going to have our book party to celebrate the launch of the book this Sunday, and you are invited. All you got to do, if you would be so kind as to leave us a review on Amazon, then just take a little photo or let us know the date that you left that review, and we will send it to bookparty@anntucker.com, which is a special email we set up just for this, and we will send you an invite to it's free invite to the book party celebration. So I hope you can make it. So I also want to let you know, I know many of you have emailed us asking, when are we starting Soul Convergence? And this is the announcement. We are starting Soul Convergence again. Soul Convergence, we offer it twice a year. It is my deepest healing program. And I am first and foremost, yes, you know me here on YouTube as a channel. I am first and foremost a healer. My true mission is to try to help others through healing, and healing through the angels and through Isla. And Soul Convergence is my absolute deepest healing program. It works with the really difficult trauma that's difficult for us to access, the stuff that happens in the womb all the way through age 7. For me personally, most of my wounding happened in the womb and at birth, is really, really early years. So I don't know how I would have accessed that without the help of the angels. So this process is a way that helps you to bring forward those subconscious subconscious wounding, some subconscious patternings that are really having the biggest impact on our lives, and helps you to move through them. And people find incredible change in their life because of this process. And sometimes it's what they were looking for. Sometimes it is not necessarily what they thought they needed, but it is what was the next most important thing on their journey, is what they move through, and they come out on the other side. We see relationships that were estranged become resolved. We see health issues healed. We see major things happen. It just depends on the individual and what is most needed and most of service on their journey through life. So if you'd like to know more about the program, it's on my website. It's anntucker.com. And we start, it's open now. You can sign up now. We start, I think September 12th is the beginning date. So, and there's lots of information there for you. If you have questions, you can just comment in the chat here. Leave a comment for me. We'll get back to her. You can email us at support@anntucker.com. All right. So take a breath, and we're going to go ahead and begin with the original channeling, and then we'll do our breakdown afterwards. Blessed beings, we begin again. We are speaking today on another topic, a new idea I wish to share. Welcome, welcome, blessings. I am holding in my heart a new idea, a thought about yourselves, about how you are requiring yourselves to do and be so much, about how you would gesture your own heart into the world, how you hold yourself to a capacity that seems unreachable, how you feel yourself climbing, always struggling and attempting to go beyond what you've known or what you've seen, how to move beyond the circumstances that are familiar. How can you create change while you are currently existing? And in this processing of your reality, the future focus is never far. It is always right there within the familiar, as if it is part of the now, your readiness to leave it, your desire to be somewhere else, the inexhaustible pull of something better that seems to promise to answer what calls to you. I wish to say, as you are considering your own reality, not a friend, but something familiar, that it cannot arrive to bring you something new when you reject what is familiar. There is a construct in human thinking that triangulates and opposes what you wish to draw in. It rejects the formation of the very thing that you are hoping for. And it stems from this concept that you are living in the now, but reaching for the future, that you reject the current moment as though it cannot contain enough hope to fill the void of your expectation. And as you stir yourself, as you try for improvement, as you work against the now to achieve something beyond this void, I would say there is anger at the heart of this experience. There is a callousness to yourselves. There is a rejection of what you've created. It feels futile. It feels as if the world you've made cannot unravel fast enough. And I wish to halt and hesitate and stop us here in our conversation and bring to your attention a new and very positive question, which is, what is amazing about what you've created right now, about what you hold or have, what you are, what you can be, not now, not now, not now, not now. Stay in the familiar, in what exists as we think together. What is amazing? What is enjoyable? What is embraceable about you now, about the immediate moment, about your life as it exists? And stay with this concept as we begin this unraveling. Stay with this thought in the now that the future context you wish to arrive in can only be birthed if it starts in the now. And it can only create what is wanted if the now is also wanted. It is the feeling state that arrives to generate the future feeling state. It is the consciousness of today that is generative, that is creative. Thus, if you are reaching and pulling away from the now, from today, from what is familiar, if it feels not enough, if it is lacking, then lack follows you into the next iteration. Thus, I say, take hold, take a moment, take a bow, and concentrate on self and what you've created, how you've dispersed your energy field. Who are you supporting? How have you helped another? Where does your field vibrate in concern or in anger? Let these fall away and draw your attention and focus back down and into where you feel loved. And steady here for a moment, loved by yourself, loved within the current reality, as you stand, as you are. What do you love about yourself and your life right now? And let this circle around you like a bee buzzing in nature. Let it fill your ears, let it come to your heart, and let it stay there for a moment, and let it populate. Fill your heart with the buzzy feeling of I am all right. I am enough. I am all that I require right now, right now, right now, not tomorrow, right now. Stay steady, stay firm in your concentration. Do not think about tomorrow. Do not think about what is required or what must be done. Focus only on the now. And in this now state, when you feel there is no lack and nothing for concern, project forward. And from that state, imagine tomorrow with no lack and nothing of concern. Do not worry about what must be done or what is being called for. Simply stay in the feeling state within the now, which reverberates throughout the body of what you are satisfied with and content with about yourself and your life. And project that now into the future tomorrow. And assume, yes, you may assume it will happen again. And take this moment now to allow this reverberation to happen. Take your focal point back to the center. See yourself in the ways of being which bring you contentment, and project that contentment into tomorrow. And imagine that you shall also feel content then. And let there now be a string or a bridge that is created between that next now of tomorrow and today, where the contentment builds as if the feeling itself is generative, as if that feeling state can expand through time, as if more, creates more abundance, creates more satisfaction, more contentedness. Start small. Do not expand too quickly. Allow yourself to hold this compassion for your present moment. Feel compassionately for the things you haven't completed, for what you started, what isn't done. And now let them fall away and bring your mind back to the center, to the start, and begin again. Where are you happy? What is contentment? Where are you satisfied? And let that move around you like a busy bee and move closer and closer, spinning around until it's in your heart center. and let it become the sole focus. That sensation of I'm enough, I'm all right, my present now has many good things, and I am one of them. And imagine this feeling, what you are contented with. Project it now till tomorrow, and imagine tomorrow you will still feel that way and more. And now reach into tomorrow and connect the two feeling states. Contentedness now and contentedness in the future, tomorrow. And as that bridge is built, notice that the sensation begins to expand. Do you feel it now? Do you feel it now? Yes. This is how you can orchestrate an expansion of your own satisfaction with life and expand your own creative state, your ability to generate something that you want, that you cannot yet define, but that will encourage more beneficial experiences that move forward from this day. And where I wish to draw your attention is to what has created this difference. What is operational in this experience? It is noticing that satisfaction itself creates the dialogue between the now and the future. The feeling state is what impregnates your future moment. It is what creates from the now. Thus, if you stir in the now full of dissatisfaction and impatience, what will you create tomorrow? More dissatisfaction and impatience. If you can call yourself back into presence with satisfaction, even of the smallest thing, you may feel very pleasantly about a chore you just completed. You may feel very happy about an email you just wrote. Allow that feeling of self-satisfaction to move into tomorrow. You may practice this in every moment that you feel happiness. You may pause for a moment and imagine that happiness tomorrow. And then take a moment as you fill your field, as you allow it to come into your heart, push it into tomorrow, and then build the bridge between them and feel how your happiness expands. Each moment that you feel yourself satisfied with your life, with yourself, with how you feel, how you behave, how you treat others, take a moment to celebrate that experience and to replicate it in tomorrow's energy field and create the connective tissue between the two. This simple process is an exciting revelation that I have only just created to describe to you how you might expand the field of your own contentedness in an easy and accessible way. And I hope you have enjoyed it. You may do this at any point, at any time. It is a simple practice. It is also generating a dialogue between yourself and your future creative state. So it strengthens your ability to believe in a more positive future state. It opens the doorway of potential for you. Thus, it accomplishes many things. I wish you a very excellent week. I say bless you, thank you, and goodbye. So, very cool practice. I love, what I love about this practice is not a one and done. What I love is how she describes how anytime we catch ourselves feeling good, we can immediately, and you could do this in a second, right? You catch yourself feeling good about something and you're like, ooh, I feel good right now. Take a minute. And it is, yes, imagining that feeling of contentment exists tomorrow, right? You imagine yourself in tomorrow feeling as good as you do right now. But the magic of this process is the bridge between the two. And that was what, as I was channeling, she was showing me visually that I could see the energy building in the now, and then I could see it replicating in the future. But by making a bridge between it, all of a sudden it spread out like this. Like it was almost like a glowing line, and then the line grew and the whole thing grew. And it expanded that sensation of contentedness way more than what you feel in the moment. It more than doubled it. It's like it I can't even put a number on it. It made it different, is the best way I can describe it. It took it from an isolated experience to more like a pervasive, everywhere energy. It grew in a new way. And so that was what was so exciting about it to me, is that it almost like rather than it being just a moment, it became a state of being, if that makes sense. It became much more everywhere. So that I think is the real gem of this practice. That it is anytime you feel good. And the more that we do it, the more of that energy that we are building in tomorrow, which creates the next tomorrow, which creates the next tomorrow. So you could see how this could amplify. And it doesn't matter. Another thing I love about this, it doesn't matter if you only feel great once in the day, if you, or even if you just feel slightly good. Like, I like that she didn't say feeling incredible. She said feeling content, right? Any moment of contentment. Maybe it's a moment you just poured yourself a cup of tea and it's raining outside and you think to yourself, like, I'm so happy that I'm cozy up on my sofa today. Even if you're not feeling good and you're like, I called in sick to work today, I'm so glad I'm not at work. Like, that's a great moment. Like, I feel good. And you take that moment and you project it into tomorrow and you're like, tomorrow I'm going to feel just as content, and not locking it into the moment, right? You don't want to lock it into the reason. It's the feeling state only. Like, you don't want to, because if you lock it into the reason, you might generate that reason over and over again. You just want to feel, I feel cared for, I feel loved, I feel celebrated, I feel understood or listened to, or whatever it is. And you feel that, and you imagine feeling that tomorrow, because why wouldn't you? If you feel it today, it's absolutely accessible to you tomorrow too. Particularly because you may feel content about things that you do on a regular basis. Like, that's going to be the easiest. Like, imagine if you folded the laundry and you're like, I'm so glad that task is done. And then you can take a minute and say, I know that I'm going to do laundry in the future. I'm going to now connect to all those moments in the future where I finished the laundry. And I'm just going to sit for a moment and I'm going to feel tomorrow, or whatever day it is, next Wednesday, when I do the laundry again. And I'm going to connect to that feeling, how good it feels. And I'm going to draw a bridge back, a string back to today. And I'm going to send my contentedness along that bridge, and boom, there it goes. Right. And it just became much bigger than the laundry. So it's a really cool practice. Yeah. So anyways, I was super excited to share it with you guys. So yeah, so if you guys are ready, shall we go ahead and break it down? Let's do it. Okay. So first paragraph, she says, blessed beings, we begin again. We are speaking today on another topic, a new idea I wish to share. So she just thought of this. And I think she probably was thinking about it because last week we were talking about this. We were talking about the idea of how do you manifest something if you don't know what it is. And she spelled it out for us last week, but she didn't really offer us a practice last week. And so I think this week she's doing that, is she's giving us a more specific practice that we can put into effect. And how perfect to align it with Lionsgate, where manifestation is on the table, right? Where it's really amplified. So cool. So then she says, I thought about, I'm holding in my heart a new idea, a thought about yourselves, about how you are requiring yourselves to do and be so much, about how you would gesture your own heart into the world, how you hold yourself to a capacity that seems unreachable, how you feel yourself climbing, always struggling and attempting to go beyond what you've known or what you've seen, how to move beyond the circumstances that are familiar. How can you create change while you are currently existing? So she's really identifying the sensation of striving, like in that we feel that in our life, and it's we can call it striving, I think, when we are in motion, but when we are not in motion, I think we can call it discontent. That when we are in our own life and feeling restless, feeling unhappy, feeling like whatever is not okay for one reason or another. So and it is, and I like that she identifies that it is it is how you would gesture your heart into the world. So sometimes it has to do with how are you being seen or sharing yourself. How are you feeling expressed or not feeling expressed? And that we require ourselves to do and be so much. And I think that the way she says that, it makes you realize, wait a minute, you mean we don't have to? Like, that's not the point, is to do and be so much. Like, is that really something we just created for ourselves? Do we really make life a lot harder than it needs to be? And then she says, how you hold yourself to a capacity that seems unreachable. So there's another big topic, which is the concept that I think we create sometimes goals for ourselves or ideals for ourselves that feel unreachable. And just the thought of that, imagine if you are holding for yourself an example that feels, whether or not it is unreachable is irrelevant. It is, what is it, does it feel unreachable to you? And if it does, what does that create in your own sense of feeling? So this to me speaks to like some of the crises of our youth and their access to social media, how they're looking at images of other people who are perfecting, using technology to make themselves look impossibly perfect and posting it. And then, young people are looking at that and feeling like that it is beyond reach. And so there's that feeling of strive and discontent coupled with the sense that the ideal is never reachable. And so think about how that just takes the wind out of someone's sails, how it just starts to feel like it could never be. So I think she's really trying to name this whole category of feeling that humans go through, and really recognizing in where she says where we are requiring ourselves to do and be so much. She's saying this is not required. We are requiring ourselves. Like there is nobody saying external to us, no one, there's no God, there's no angels, nobody is looking at us saying you're not good enough. Nobody. The only one that's doing that is us. And so here is really what she's trying to identify, that this is frequently where we spend time in one way or another. Is there an area in your life where you expect perfection of yourself, or where you think you should be doing better than you are, right? Where is it? Like, what is it? And then she says, how you feel yourself climbing, always struggling, attempting to go beyond what you've known or what you've seen, how you move beyond the circumstances that are familiar. How can you create change while you are currently existing? So we're in this state that we want to escape from, and how do we do it? And then she says, and in this process of your reality, the future focus is never far. It is always right there within the familiar, as if it is part of the now. Your readiness to leave it, your desire to be somewhere else, the inexhaustible pull of something better that seems to promise to answer what calls to you. So this is something I can definitely relate to. Like in my 30s, I did a lot of painting. And I got really into pastel painting, and I loved it. I studied with this really great teacher. And my goal in that process was to try to paint a painting that I could put on my wall and that I wouldn't pick it apart. And in my 30s, I had not gone through my healing yet. I was not even awakened yet. I was still very much asleep. And I had that perfectionist streak. And when I would finish a painting, and I did do a lot of paintings back then, all I would see was what I did wrong. I put it on the wall and I would just notice all the things I couldn't fix, that I didn't have the skill yet. And at that point with pastel, the way it works is there's a moment where you can't do any more because there's no more tooth on the paper and it will not hold any more pastel. So if you haven't fixed it, you can't go back because it just wrecks it. So you basically have to accept it at a certain point. And so you just have to live with the mistakes. And so this idea of picking it apart and rather than looking at it and saying, here's what I did right, because there's certainly good things, right? There's a lot I did right, but my eye would go right to the thing that I knew I didn't do very well. And I know, and Marie's nodding, like, you guys know what I'm talking about. And it's something we do. And so in what part of life is it that we do that? So this is that idea that the future focus is never far. It is always right there in the familiar, right? It's always right next to us. It's this idea that we live with our own self-judgment, that it's a part of how we filter what we perceive in our reality. So I could have decided to look at the paintings I did and appreciate how I'd grown and how I'd improved from the last one. I could have noticed the things I did better. But I was sitting there with my future focus thinking the next one has to be better. How can I look at this one to figure out how to do better, how to move away from what is now into a better state where I can paint better than I can today, right? That was how I would perceive everything. So it's my readiness to leave it. I would be in the now with my filter focused on how can I leave the now? How can I be better tomorrow? And there's a lot of books out there that'll tell us that that's good, which is insane. There's a lot of books that are like, how do you improve the 7 habits of highly effective people, whatever it is. That are, I'm not saying those books are bad. That, not all of them are bad. That's the only one that popped into my head. That the type of book I'm talking about. That are like constantly evaluate your life for how you can be better. Like constantly strive for the next great thing. Manage your mornings and drink your special butter drink in the morning or your celery drink or whatever, and wake up and do 50 sit-ups and do your, how can you be more like, Lee, whoever the $1 million man tomorrow? How can you do it? And so what that does is it makes us, and there's nothing wrong with improving. Like I'm all for it, but how do we love ourselves in the process? How do we improve by loving ourselves rather than judging ourselves? And so there's a huge distinction there, because so much of how we are taught to exist is through judgment and analysis and separation. And that is often pointed at ourselves. How do we grow by pulling apart and picking apart what we did? What if we grew just as well? What if I painted better by focusing on what I did well rather than focusing on what I did wrong? And hold that as a theory for a minute. Is that possible? Could I become as good of a painter by noticing what I did right? I would say yes, because if I notice what I did right, then I would learn to do more of what I did right. Right? And if I look at what I did wrong, if I focus on that, if I'm picking that apart, I can certainly use it as instruction. I can say, oh, okay, here's where I could try it in a new way. But I think there is just as much to be learned from what I did right as what I did wrong. Because just because we did it right once doesn't mean we're going to always do it right, right? I know there's a bunch of times where, and I'm kind of rambling here, but I do think that it's relevant, that I used to renovate houses. I did this like every 2 years. I would do another house, and it was kind of part of how I supplemented my income, is I would buy and renovate a house and sell it, buy and renovate a house and sell it. And there would be things I would do wrong. And I would say to myself, I am never going to do that again. I'm going to learn from what I did. I'm going to do it differently next time. And one of them was basements. And if I'm going to pour concrete, remember to make the concrete level for flooring so you don't have to put self-leveling on top of the concrete, because it costs a lot of money. So I made that mistake the first time. I'm never going to make that mistake again. And then guess what? 4 years later, I did it again because I didn't pay attention. You know what I mean? I didn't pay attention to what I was doing. So, and in the same way, I think we do the things with what we do right. We forget, we lose the focus of what we did right. So I think, yeah, there's just as much to be learned by focusing on and repeating what we did well and doing more of that. So, all right. So then she says this idea that we're really living with this desire to leave the now moment. And and that concept of reaching for the future is always right next to us, something better, right? And our desire to be somewhere else. So then she goes on to say, I would say, as you are considering your own reality, not a friend, but something familiar. And I liked how she makes that distinction. Reality as we have it right now, super familiar, but it's not always our friend. We don't like it all the time. We don't always like what's in our current reality. Not a friend, but something familiar. That it cannot arrive to bring you something new when you reject what is familiar. There is a construct in human thinking that triangulates and opposes what you wish to draw in. It rejects the formation of the very thing you are hoping for, and it stems from this concept that you are living in the now but reaching for the future, that you reject the current moment as though it cannot contain enough hope to fill the void of your expectation. So this is a super important concept, that if we reject the current moment and in our desire to do something or be something different, then what we are experiencing is rejection. And rejection is that is what is essentially pushing away what we want to create in the future. So she talks about here, there's a construct in human thinking that triangulates and opposes what you wish to draw in. So let's just talk about this as a visual, because visuals can guess what? You get one of my drawings. Lucky you. Stick figures. Here we go. So So if we have the now moment, right, which is here, and then we have the future, which is here. So here we have the now moment, and then here we have the future. But if we are in the now moment, can you see that? This is a pretty faint pen. You can't? Let me get a better pen, you guys. I got a better pen. I have green. Okay. Okay. So that's better. Now moment, and then the future. So if we are in the now moment and we are in it, right? And we're in it to win it, we're invested, we are inside the circle. But most of the time we are not. We are looking at the now moment and judging it. And judgment places us outside the circle. We are no longer immersed in it. We're holding it apart from us, looking at it, evaluating it. That puts us over here in the X. So here's the now moment, here's the future, and here we have moved out of the now moment. We are living over here in this almost disembodied state, which I will call judgment, where we are looking back at the now moment saying, I don't like you. I want to be over there. So, but guess what this does? This energy is not an energy of pull. This is an energy of push. It is I don't like, right? It is pushing energy, pushing away from here. But guess what? If it's pushing, this is an energy of push. It is also pushing here, right? Push is push, regardless of which direction if you're in judgment, it's an energetic state of saying, I dislike. So it triangulates rather than creating a polarity of this where one moves into the next. We have suddenly triangulated our energy field. We've moved outside of the now moment into judgment, and we have this repulsion energy that repulses, right? It repulses the now moment, but it's an energy of repulsion. So it also repulses what we want in the future. It is just pushing it away. So this is the triangulation that she's talking about, that when we are in judgment, all we are doing is pushing everything away, right? It's including what we want. So human thinking triangulates and opposes what you wish to draw in. It rejects the formation of the very thing you are hoping for. And it stems from this concept that you are living in the now, but reaching for the future. That you reject the current moment as though it cannot contain enough hope to fill the void of your expectation. So rejection is rejection. And you can't get specific with it. Well, I'm rejecting the now, but I want the future. But what you're feeling, what are you feeling? Rejection, right? So that's what's projecting. Rejection is what's actually moving forward. The feeling state is what matters. So then she says, and as you stir yourself, as you try for improvement, as you work against the now to achieve something beyond this void, I would say there is anger at the heart of this experience. There is a callousness toward yourselves. There is a rejection of what you've created. It feels futile. It feels as if the world you've made cannot unravel fast enough, right? And so this brings us back to the idea that we are the creator of everything that we are trying to change. So when you're looking in your reality and saying, I don't like this, I don't like that, it's like me looking at my painting. I made that painting, right? So when I'm looking at it and picking it apart, I'm really being very mean to me, rather than noticing what I did well. I have shown you guys this painting before I did of my kids, and I keep it on my wall, and I actually really love it. But there was a time where I almost didn't hang it up because I so disliked the bird. And my kids are so cute in the picture, but there's this bird in the front that just feels like and I'll show you. So here it is. So here's this picture. If you can see it, that's it. That's the painting. See the two kids? That's my kids when they were little. And then right in the front, right there is this little bird thing. And this whole section in here and all of this, I'm like, okay, I could have done that so much. But every time I look at it, and I'd look at that picture and I would just look at everything I did wrong rather than noticing like, oh, my kids look adorable and they look so cute there. And I'm really happy that I painted it. Now that I've come a long way in my journey, I actually really like, and I have it right here and I love it, But there was a time that I literally didn't hang that painting because it bothered me so much. So, and that is me really being very not nice to me. And I don't criticize myself for being not nice to me because I recognize that voice didn't start with me, right? We become judgmental and critical of ourselves because we are trying to preempt other people being critical and judgmental of ourselves. So when we judge ourselves, it's because we've been judged, and we start to become, we try to get it before anybody else gets it so that nobody criticizes us. So what I'm saying is be even soft about your own criticism, is be compassionate towards yourself about being judgmental, but notice that we're being judgmental. So she goes on to say, and I wish to halt and hesitate and stop us here in our conversation and bring to your attention a new and very positive question, which is, what is amazing about what you've created right now? So about what you hold or have what you are. And so even just ponder that as we're talking. Like, what can you focus on, even if it's just one thing right now, that just pull it into your head. What can you focus on about what you've created, what you hold, what you have, what you are? What is something amazing in your world? And then she says, what can you be? Because that's where our head goes. So if you notice as you start to ask this question of yourself, like, what is amazing about me or my life? Does your head go to who you're going to be, about who you're going to be tomorrow? That is common, right? It is not, it is a common thing for us to immediately jump to, well, here's who I'm striving to be, right? That's how we answer that question rather than saying, here's what's amazing about me right this minute. And so she addresses that. She says, what you can be, not now, not now, not now, not now. She's saying that is not now. Like, don't think about that now. She says, stay in the familiar, stay with what's true, stay with what's today, right? In what exists as we think together. What is amazing? What is enjoyable? What is embraceable about you now? And I like that she added what is embraceable, because sometimes, the people that love you, sometimes the thing they love about you is not something that you would think is lovable. Like sometimes it's one of your quirks, something kooky that you do that they think is adorable, that they love that about you. And so what is embraceable about you? So, and then she says about the immediate moment right now, about your life as it exists without changing it, without judgment. She says, and stay with this concept as we begin this unraveling. Next paragraph, she says, stay with this thought in the now, that the future context you wish to arrive in can only be birthed if it starts in the now. And it can only create what is wanted if the now is also wanted. It is the feeling state that arrives to generate the future feeling state. It is the consciousness of today that is generative, that is creative. Thus, if you are reaching and pulling away from the now, from today, from what is familiar, if it feels not enough, if it feels lacking, then lack follows you into the next iteration. So I think that's really powerful. So then she goes on to say, next paragraph, thus I say, take hold, take a moment, take a bow, and concentrate on self and what you've created. Take a bow, right? Celebrate yourself. What can you honor about what you've created in your life right now? Take a bow. And then she says, where was it? And concentrate on self and what you've created, how you've dispersed your energy field. Who are you supporting? How have you helped another? Right? So these are another things you can think about, that you can dwell on. And those are lovely ones to activate that feeling of gratitude and contentment with yourself when you've done something kind for another person. Those can be really powerful feelings. Then she says, where does your field vibrate in concern or in anger? Let these fall away and draw your attention. So she's constantly, as we're trying to do this, you may notice that your mind drifts and you go into things that you're not happy with. So she says, bring it back. Every time it happens, if you're in this process and you drift into judgment or discontent or anger, bring it back to the center. Bring it back, focus back down into where you feel loved. And steady here for a moment, loved by yourself, loved within the current reality as you stand, as you are. What do you love about yourself and your life right now? And then she says, and let this circle around you like a bee buzzing in nature. And so this was awesome because, and I'm sure she's speaking to me with this too, because I have all my squash are in blossom. All the big squash blossoms, these big yellow flowers. And I have these really super big bees, these little chunky bees. They're like super cute, fuzzy bees. And if you've never seen a little bee butt sticking out of a squash blossom, it is the cutest thing. I tried to get a photo to share with you, but I didn't get the big fat bees. I got a medium-sized bee. But I did go out and photograph some bees after I went through the message this morning. I'm like, it is the cutest thing, you guys. They are so adorable. And the thing about it, she says, okay, it is a bee buzzing in nature. Let it fill your ears. Let it come to your heart. So you know how a bee comes to the blossom and it kind of zooms around and it finds a blossom and then it lands on the wing and then it goes into the center. And it doesn't go into the blossom halfway. It dives in there and it's like swimming in the nectar and its little butt sticking out. It's like it's in there. It's in there for good. So you just look at how committed the bee is to that flower. And this is how we want to feel with the emotion, is let that energy, right? Let it circle what you love about yourself. Let it circle around you like a bee in nature, filling your ears. Let it come into your heart, into the center of the flower, and let it stay there a moment. Let it populate. Fill your heart with the buzzy feeling of I'm all right. I am enough. I am all that I require right now, right now, right now, not tomorrow, right now. Stay steady, stay firm in your concentration. So like, look at a little bee in there. And this is not the big fat bee, this is a little bee. But look at his, like he's literally face down, butt up, like in the flower. They're so cute. And like here's one in there. I was trying to do a little video for you so you could see, but every squash blossom had a little, there's one a little bit bigger, but they're just in there. They're so cute. So, and the big, the big bumblebee ones I'm talking about with the bright yellow stripes, they're so adorable. So, okay. So, but that I think gives us a wonderful visual of let that feeling come in with wild abandon, with absolute, like where, like, and think about how much that bee loves that flower. You know what I mean? It just loves it. It's not even thinking anything about itself. It's just in that flower. That's where we want to be. No judgment. And then she says, do not think about tomorrow. Do not think about what is required or what must be done. Focus only on the now. And in this now state, when you feel there is no lack and nothing for concern, project forward. So once you achieve this state, that is when we start to project into tomorrow. And from that state, imagine tomorrow with no lack and nothing of concern. Do not worry about what must be done or what is being called for. So what's important about this is that you're not trying to imagine everything tomorrow is perfect. All you're doing is you're saying, today, I feel good about the fact that my desk is clean. And tomorrow, my desk is also going to be clean. And that's all I have to say to myself. And I have to sit in the moment and say, oh, my desk is clean. I feel good. I feel so happy when my desk is clean. And tomorrow, it's going to be clean too. And I'm going to allow myself to feel the same feeling about tomorrow. And that's it. So if you're feeling it today, it's very likely going to be true tomorrow too. So just allow yourself to expand it just like that, where you're like, oh, today I feel good. And it's going to be the same tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm also going to feel this way. And so once you make that connection, you have planted that seed, that feeling into tomorrow. Then she says, simply stay in the feeling state within the now, which reverberates throughout the body of what you are satisfied with and content with about yourself and your life. And project that now into the future tomorrow. And assume, yes, you may assume it will happen again. So that's the operative word. We are assuming that tomorrow we're going to have the same circumstances, same thing. So we will also be able to generate the same feeling. And then she says, and take this moment now to allow this reverberation to happen. Take your focal point back to the center, see yourself in the ways of being which bring you contentment, and project that contentment into tomorrow. And imagine that you shall also feel content then. So this is, to me, this is the key way we start to plant the seed, is this understanding of all you got to do is, okay, and this is why it's really important to not say tomorrow is going to be perfect or tomorrow is going to be, it is literally taking whatever the small thing is and imagining it very easily, it will be true tomorrow too, and it will make you feel just as good, maybe better, is what she's saying, because she says then, where is it? And let there now be a string or bridge. So this is something visual. And if you are a person who doesn't visual, you can just feel or sense this bridge or string, because some people I know don't visualize as easily. But when you're in this state of, say that you're in your home and you just emptied the dishwasher and you're like, I love it when all the dishes are clean and they're all neatly stacked. It makes me feel so good. So then you're going to say, and you know what? Tomorrow, the dishes are also going to be neatly stacked and I'm going to feel just as good. And so you see yourself today, you feel, yep, tomorrow I'm going to anticipate feeling the exact same way. Then you visualize, feel, or experience a string between the two, between tomorrow and today, these two feeling states, you connect them visually or through a feeling state in your mind and in your heart. Then she says, so you create a string or a bridge that is created between that now, the next now of tomorrow and today, where the contentment builds, as if the feeling itself is generative, as if the feeling state can expand through time, which is what's happening. So you're literally making a canal or a connection which expands a feeling state to beyond just the moment, into like a field of existence. And then she says, as if more creates more abundance, creates more satisfaction, more contentedness. And then she says, start small, Do not expand too quickly. Allow yourself to hold this compassion for your present moment. Feel compassionately for the things you haven't completed, for what you've started, what isn't done, and now let them fall away. So in other words, if you get distracted, you're in the middle of doing this and you're like, but what if tomorrow I don't get the dishes done? And they're not, okay, just find compassion. I'm like, I understand, might be busy. That's okay. Let that fall away, bring back to center. Just let it, whatever, if you get distracted, just acknowledge a distraction with compassion, let it fall away and come back to where you feel content. And then let it fall away, bring it back to center, to the start, and begin again. Where are you happy? Where are you satisfied? And then she says, and let that move around you like a buzzy bee and move closer and closer, spinning around till it's in your heart center. And let it become the sole focus, that sensation of I'm enough, I'm all right. My present now has many good things, and I am one of them. And imagine this feeling, what you are contented with, projected now till tomorrow, and imagine tomorrow you will still feel that way and more. And now reach into tomorrow and connect the two feeling states, contentedness now and contentedness in the future tomorrow. And as that bridge is built, notice that the sensation begins to expand. Do you feel it now? Do you feel it now? Yes. This is how you can orchestrate an expansion of your own satisfaction with life and expand your own creative state. Your ability to generate something that you want, that you cannot yet define, but that will encourage more beneficial experiences that move forward from this day. And where I wish to draw your attention is to what it has created this difference. What is operational in this experience? Is it noticing that satisfaction itself creates the dialogue between the now and the future? The feeling state is what impregnates your future moment. It is what creates from the now. Thus, if you stir in the now full of dissatisfaction and impatience, what will you create tomorrow? More dissatisfaction and impatience. If you can call yourself back into presence with satisfaction, even of the smallest thing, you may feel very pleasantly about a chore you just completed. You may feel very happy about an email you just wrote. Allow that feeling of self-satisfaction to move into tomorrow. You may practice this in every moment that you feel happiness. You may pause for a moment and imagine that happiness tomorrow. And then take a moment as you fill your field and allow it to come into your heart, push it into tomorrow, and then build a bridge between them and feel how your happiness expands. Each moment that you feel yourself satisfied with your life, with yourself, with how you feel, how you behave, how you treat others, take a moment to celebrate that experience and replicate it in tomorrow's energy field and create the connective tissue between the two. Isn't that lovely? So, and this to me is where this becomes really, really powerful, is that every time you think of it, you can do this in a moment. You can get really practice at this. And it is literally the feeling. And I, as I was in meditation with her, and she was showing this to me, showing me how the two were connected by this thread or this bridge, I felt the feeling expand. I had a physical sensation of this expanded state. And it is, to me, I guess the best way to describe it is that it changes a moment into a field of reality, where this now becomes part of your field of living. So it takes it out of, and she says it in here, she says it expands through time. So, which makes sense. How does something become a permanent state? How does something become more than just a minute? Is because it happens over and over again. How does a thing you do become a habit? Through repetition, which means you express it through time. It expands it. Time expands things. So if you can take this feeling state and project it into the future and connect it through time, you are expanding that feeling state and it becomes a field of experience, which you get to enjoy again and again. Isn't that amazing? So then she says, this simple process is an exciting revelation that I have only just created to describe to you how you might expand the field of your own contentedness in an easy and accessible way. And I hope you have enjoyed it. You may do this at any point, at any time. It is a simple practice. It is also generating a dialogue between yourself and your future creative state. So it strengthens your ability to believe in a more positive future state. It opens the doorway of potential for you. Thus, it accomplishes many things. I wish you a very excellent week. I say bless you, thank you, and goodbye. So very cool message this week. I think so fun and positive and so perfect for Lionsgate. And as we're talking about manifestation And here with the eclipse, where so many of you are having new things come up, major life changes come up, it's a perfect time to say, great, that I had a friend once who talked about how great change and when things break apart, it creates like a crack in the fence and you can get through before you couldn't. So certainly like change is disruptive and all that kind of stuff, but it also paves and opens doorways that were never open before. So what do we want to do with those doorways? We want to project our positive feelings. We want to express what we love, where we feel good about ourselves, and create more good things. So, all right. Fantastic, fantastic message. Thank you guys so much for being together, for sharing it, for holding the energy. It was awesome, awesome, awesome. And again, thank you for your reviews for the book. I'm really loving reading them, and have shared a few on YouTube. I shared them as posts, a few of them. And I'm excited, super excited to see you guys on Sunday for the book party. So I will see you there. Have a beautiful weekend, you guys. I'll see you next Friday live.